Hello YouTube, and welcome to another Explain 11 video. Today we're having a look at this lovely aircraft which has been out for a few weeks now. It's the Toliss A319, and I've had this aircraft just not long after it was released, and I haven't had a chance to do a video on the aircraft yet, but today I thought we'd have a quick look at some of the features in this fantastic aircraft. Now, I have the Flight Factor A320. I'm not going to compare it with that. They're two different aircraft, and they're both excellent, I can tell you that. As you can see, we're in EasyJet livery at Birmingham Airport, EGBB, and we'll just have a look around the aircraft. As you can see, it's really nice. The aircraft outside is fantastic. It really looks nice. So what we'll do, we'll have a look in the cockpit now, and we'll show you the menu that comes with the aircraft and how to set it up and get it up and running from cold and dark. So let's nip into the dark in the Flight Factor cockpit, and you can see it looks very nice. A lot of people are complaining about the actual textures in this aircraft, and to be honest, they're not the best, but Tolis are working on, as we speak now, at some improvements to the cockpits, and that they will be coming out in the next update. And I've had a look at some of the screenshots that they've put on their Facebook page, and it looks really good. So I'm waiting to see what happens with that. You can actually, somebody has put on Explain.org some replacement textures for this cockpit, and they do look really good, but I haven't put them in for this particular video. I thought I'd leave the aircraft as it is, so you can see what you get when you purchase the aircraft at this particular time. So we're cold and dark, as you can see. Well, almost. We've got, if I just look at the overhead panel, we've got the external power on and the batteries are on. Now, if I just go to the plugins menu and down to the Tolis plugin, and we'll open the Tolis menu up, and as you can see, if I just go to settings and actions, I think, yeah, that's the one. I've got the startup type as external power on, so it's not quite cold and dark, but you can set it to cold and dark. You can set it to external power on, APU and ADI-RUs on, or even engines running. You choose which state you want it to start in, and you just click save the preferences at the bottom of the menu there. There are quite a few other things you can save in this particular part of the menu, which really doesn't need much explanation. So this is the Tolis menu. As you can see, we've got the settings actions there. This is the version that we're on at the moment, which is 1.0.2, build 874. As I speak to you now, this is the latest version, and you can update the aircraft via the X update tool. A few things here. Primary joystick, that doesn't need an explanation really. Second stick, I haven't got a second stick, so I'm just using the one. Tiller assigned, I've just left these as they are. I have got rudder pedals, and if I just, if I just touch one of the rudder pedals, it'll assign the pedal brakes. And you've also got an ADIRU quick align and jump to next waypoint. Auto pause, I've got that switched off. I think it pauses at top of descent or something like that. There's a couple of pages which aren't in use at the moment. They're there for future updates, for scenarios. Got ground services, external power is on at the moment. I've got the high and low pressure air off. It's got a pushback feature in there as well. I don't particularly use that because I'm using better pushback, and that works quite well with the aircraft. And you've also got the option of having auto door closures and opening, which I've left all on auto, but you can switch those to close or open or auto. Aircraft config, this is where you put your amount of passengers, the distribution of the passengers, cargo, fuel, and it will also tell you when you've set all those parameters up. It'll give you these figures here that you need to input into the MCDU, which we'll have a look at shortly. Zero fuel weight and centre of gravity. We'll have a look at that in a bit. This bit here is really interesting. Same as the flight factor, this aircraft will save as you I think it's after engine start. It auto saves the aircraft situation, and I mean saves it. I've got it set to every 5 minutes here. You can switch it off and you can alter the interval. It does save, but it's really useful because if you have a problem and you're in flight, you can be at any stage of the flight, and if you have any problems, explain, freezes, shuts down or whatever, you can reload the aircraft, reload explain, reload the aircraft, click the auto save situation and load that, and it will load up the aircraft at the state it was before you had any problems. That's really useful. You can also save a situation, for example, I've got one there, EGJJ on approach. There's all sorts of scenarios you can save, so that is a really nice feature which comes with this aircraft, which I really like. So that's a quick look at the menu. So let's just go back into the aircraft now, and we'll have a look at getting some power on, lights up and running. Displays are all almost dark, as you can see. We need to turn those up and so we can see what we're doing. So we'll have a look at that. Okay, first of all, we'll turn the display brightnesses up. If you just hover your mouse over the button there and turn it using the scroll wheel, as you can see, it's increasing the brightness to the two displays. Center displays are just below there. Same thing, turn those up. I do have a little problem with sometimes with it. Not got it in the correct position, it starts zooming in and out, which can be a bit of a problem. I'd prefer it if these displays were all turned up in the aircraft, so you haven't got to turn them. But there again, it's realistic, I suppose. So just turn the MCDU displays up as well, and let's just get a better position for that one there. Turn that up, and of course the co-pilots as displays as well. Let's just turn those up a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now we'll just have a quick look at the MCDU. Just pop up, as you can see, and you can move it about like this. GPS primary loss, that's because we haven't got the IDRUs aligned. I'll just do that now while I think about it. Just nip up to the overhead panel, and there is an audio to switch these on. I think it's 132 anyway. It doesn't really matter for the purpose of this video. Pop on the navs, seat belts, smoking signs, emergency lighting. Okay, so you can see we've got some stuff on the displays now. The map display isn't available at the moment because the IRSs are still in alignment and there's 7 minutes to go. So we've just got to, you can, as I say, if you go into the menu, you can align them quicker if you so wish to. So let's have a look at the MCDU again. We're going to just have a look at how to pop a flight plan in or import a flight plan into the MCDU. It imports them from X-Plane flight plan database, default database, so there's no issue with finding any path for the import. As you can see, we're in the latest AIRAC cycle 1804 as I speak to you now, and that also uses X-Plane 11's default AIRAC location. So let's just have a look. We go to the INI page and we want to load a flight into the MCDU. We click on the load button, and then we've got a list of flight plans which I've got stored in my X-Plane flight plan folder. We'll just click on today, Birmingham to Jersey, EGJJ. That's loaded in, and we can now click the Align IRS button. That will start the alignment, and we can put some information into these boxes here. We can put an alternative of, it doesn't really matter, EGKK will do for the moment. Flight number, whatever your flight number is going to be. Cost index, now I'm going to use 25. EasyJet use, I think it's 7, but if you put 7 in on this aircraft you'll have problems. I think Tolis are aware of it. It doesn't like a cost index that low for some reason. We'll put an altitude in of, I don't know, just for the purpose of this tutorial, we'll put 19,190. And next what you would do is click on the right arrow at the bottom there, and you need to enter these parameters in here, which is the centre of gravity and zero fuel weight. So let's just have a quick look how we do that in the Tolis. We need to open the Tolis menu, and aircraft configuration, and what we need is this figure here. Now I'm not sure how much fuel, I haven't calculated the fuel for this trip, but it doesn't really matter for the purpose of this video. What we need is 28.7, which is the ZFWCG. So it's 28.7, and then we need a slash, because there's a slash just there, for the zero fuel weight, which is 56.5. So with the pop-up out, you can use your keyboard and pop into the scratch pad there, 28.7, slash 56.5. And we need to pop that into this top right in the MCDU. 28.7, 56.5. Block fuel, you set your fuel to what you're going to need for the trip, and it's in this case it's 6.4 tons of fuel. So we type in the scratch pad again, 6.4, and we'll pop that in the block fuel. Oop. Try again. There we are, and you can see there we've got some extra time as 2.2. That's okay, that's fine. So we can go back now to the flight plan. You see all the details are in there now. We need to select a departure runway. Now as you can see, the first main waypoint is CPT Compton, so if we can look for a star which includes Compton. I'm not sure whether there is one from Birmingham. We'll just have a quick look. We'll do a departure from runway 15, and there is Compton 1L, so we put the Compton 1L in as the instrument departure, and we can insert that into the MCDU. So we've got our instrument departure in there. The reason we need to do that now is because we can't put in some other parameters that we need in the performance page, which is this one here. We need to put the flaps settings and flex temperature, and of course the V1, VR, V2 speeds in. And the Tolis menu calculates all those for you, providing you've put the departure runway in first. So we're going to select the flap setting we're going to use for this tutorial, which is 1+F. And as you see, when we select that, it will give us these details here that we need. We need the centre of gravity setting for the aircraft, which has got to go in with the flaps just here. So we're looking at this value here, not the 29.9 but the UP 0.1, because we're going to use flaps 1, so we need to type into the MCDU scratchpad 1 slash up 0.1 UP 0.1, and we'll pop that into that area there. It will give us a flex temperature, which is 65. We need to pop that in. And the V speeds 129, 149, and 151. We also put a transition altitude in there. I think it's 6,000 to Birmingham anyway. Okay, so that's all the input for the MCD unit we need for the moment. The up 0.1 incidentally is the trim setting that you need to pop in the trim wheel. We just go down here. I think you do this after you start the engines, but we'll just show you what you need to do now. This wheel has to go, that's the up, and this end here is down. We've got to go up 0.1, which is something. No, you can't do it until the engines are running, but this arrow here will move up to somewhere just above the north position. Okay, so we're still waiting for the IRSs to align. So the next thing we'll do, we'll get the APU up and running so that we are then ready to start the engines as soon as the IRSs are aligned and ready to go. Okay, so we're going to start the APU. Just before we do that, we'll switch on the radios. One there, one there, and one just on the overhead panel there. And whilst we're here, we'll switch on the master switch for the APU. Just leave it a few seconds and we'll hit the start button to start the APU up. And that'll start it going. As you can see in the bottom display here, we're now looking at the APU generator. Flaps open, it's starting to do what it's supposed to do to start the APU. So we'll just wait for that to get up and running. We'll clear this message out of the MCDU and we'll put that onto progress page for the moment. I don't know if you can hear that, but can hear the APU spooling up in the background now. And as soon as that's available, we'll put the APU bleed air on, and we can turn the external power off because we don't need that any longer. So we'll just wait a few seconds for that. I think the APU is on board now. Just have a look and verify it is available. APU bleed can go on. Snip up to the external power and switch that off. And what I normally do is as well go into the Tolis menu, ground services, and turn the the external power to the off position. Okay, so we're now running on the APU. We've now got the map display, as you can see, because the IRSs have aligned, and that's good to go now. Turn that down to the lowest position 10. Pop the constraints button on. What I would do now normally is to pop the altitude up to whatever you have to go to on if there's any constraints on your on your departure, and as you can see now we've got ... That's all telling you that the aircraft is going to be managed by the autopilot. As you know, it's push pull on the 3 buttons here to go into managed or manual. Okay, so let's have a look. Go back to the flight plan here. That's all ready to go. GPS is on the primary, so that's fine. Just clear that message out there. And what we'll do now, we'll look at starting the engines. I'm not going to do a pushback or a taxi or anything like that. This is just a quick look at the aircraft and how to get it up and running. So let's just have a check now. Yeah, we've got the bleed on. We'll pop the beacon on, and then we can go. As you know, the Airbus is quite an easy aircraft to start up. We'll pop the starter on to start, leave it a few seconds, and we'll start with engine 2. Put some fuel in there and get it up and running. As you can see, it's spooling up there. I don't know if you can hear it's the engine sounds. And in the flight factor, when it's got the engine stabilised, it comes up available there. It doesn't do it in the Tolis. I'm not sure whether it does it in the 319, I don't know. But wait until the engine's spooled up and then settle back down again, and then we can start engine 1. By the way, I'm not doing this from a checklist, I'm just doing it from the top of my head, so please don't slate me if I'm doing it wrong. It's just a quick idea of how to get the aircraft up and running using the Tolis menu, which is a new feature for a lot of people. That one's stabilised by the look of it, so we can click on engine 1, get that up and going. I'd normally set the QNH at the airport in there, and you have to do it both sides in the Tolis. It doesn't change both of them at the same time. You do have to do it separately, as you can see there. And you will get a notification that there's a discrepancy between the two QNH settings. We'll just put that to 7 there. Engine 1 spooling nicely. As soon as we've got the engines online, we'll turn the APU off, and we're good to go then. Taxi out and do your flight. And I think that's it now, that's up and running, so we can switch the starter back to normal. Oops. Get the APU bleed off, turn the APU off, and then we'd be on our way. So that's a quick look at the Toliss A319. I recommend this aircraft, it's a really good aircraft. Trust me, it's really nice. The cockpit's not the best at the moment to look at, although it's, you know, everything works, and all the switches and things that you need work absolutely no problem at all. It's just it doesn't quite look as good as the other aircraft, let me put it that way. But I know Tolis are working on that for the next update, so I would recommend if you're looking for a nice Airbus, this is a fantastic aircraft. Just one thing I might mention to you before I stop the video is, and this is important, if you at the moment, if you import a flight plan into the aircraft and not type it in manually, you'll find that along the I don't think I can show you on this map display, but along the cruise levels of the route, you can just see the constraints there, but it also puts the cruise level constraints. So whatever cruise level you've put in the MCDU, which I put 190, when you go to the flight plan and you get to the first cruise level point where you're going to be at 190, to go and show you in there now. Don't know why that's flicking up and down. I think it's because of these cruise level things. Let me just click on that one there. 140. It shouldn't be 140. Anyway, let's just clear that out. Click on clear and do that for every waypoint at the cruise level, because it is a bit of a bug at the moment. Tolis are going to sort it probably on the next update. It's something that happens when you import a flight plan into the aircraft. As you can see, the top of climb there, that's the first cruise level point. So if we just click on that, yeah, that's the one I just took out. So you need to do that for every waypoint along the route that's got a constraint in. That one there, for example. Just clear them all out and the aircraft will fly perfectly. It's a little thing that's Tolis are going to sort out in a future update. Hope I've explained that reasonably enough for you. But I'm sure if you're going to get the aircraft, that'll be sorted. You won't need to do that anyway. Hope you've enjoyed the video anyway. Quick look at this fabulous aircraft. Go and get it. It's on the explain.org store. Well, it's well worth it, I promise you. It's a really nice aircraft. And if you're looking for an Airbus, this one and the flight packs are both worth getting. Thanks for watching. See you next time.